the Grayscale versus SEC court battle that's been happening. And, we've kind of been crabbing. And then, what happens? SEC takes another big L. And by the way, they're taking a lot of big L's when it comes to crypto fights in the courts, and first XRP, now Grayscale. So we know that the first Bitcoin ETF is going to be coming out likely within the next month. And we'll probably have more of those being approved this fall. Is this something that is that's going to allow a lot of institutional money to help pump the markets, or should we pump our expectations because they're going to be a little bit more institutional control now?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, like, regardless or not, like, we're entering kind of a brackish water where like TradFi is fusing with a little bit of crypto. We still will have the crypto degenerate side, and we will still have all the meme coins and then real DeFi, but more and more cryptos merging with the regular macro sectors of the economy. And I mean, basically, since the moment the Fed started increasing interest rates back in the first quarter of 2022, we have now kind of like our locomotive has like linked up with the rest of the space. So now, like, if the rest of the equity market takes a shit, we'll also go down. We could counter pump for maybe a month or two, but then eventually it come down because some of the people who have a lot of wealth in equities and stuff are starting to have wealth in crypto, and then when they're feeling bearish, they take profits in crypto, which can drag the prices down. So that's what's kind of going on there. But overall, I think ETFs will pass for Bitcoin. Ethereum is going to be a little bit more, I think, a longer term, but once the Bitcoin one passes, it's going to be like green lights. People are that's basically the start of the real crazy start of the bull market. I think honestly in the next 2 months, we're pretty much at the lows of the altcoin market, honestly. So there's even stuff even with all the lawsuits, even with Richard Hart and stuff like that. He has to be. I mean, there's a big court case on the 28th, but like I actually think he has to meet a little earlier than that. If he doesn't show up, it could be bad or so. And even the SEC and stuff, they want him to settle. I think it was like what they want him to pay $14 million and never talk about crypto again, or something like that. Yeah.
That's not.
It's about the money, bro.
That's not happening. That's not happening.
That's not happening.
Okay, so since we're on the topic of ETFs, right? I know that a lot of other crypto pundits have spoken about how this upcoming cycle, it's probably going to be an Ethereum cycle, right? And a lot of people have considered, okay, this might be the next bull cycle, might be the time where we have it might be short-lived, right? But it might be a point in time where Ethereum actually gets to flip BTC. But now that we have the largest asset manager in the world, BlackRock, and all of these different other asset managers that quite frankly control a large portion of the world's wealth, now investing into these Bitcoin ETFs when they do come out, how likely do you think now that do you think it's still possible that Ethereum could flip Bitcoin this cycle, or has the Bitcoin ETFs kind of put a stop to that line of thinking?
It's still possible. I mean, I think if there's a cycle they're going to do it, it'd probably be this one. It just every cycle it gets a little tougher and tougher for it to happen. But I mean, right now the biggest thing that's happened to Ethereum is that Ethereum 2.0 upgrade. Effectively, I mean, in a way, kind of like Ethereum's kind of become our government bonds in crypto. Crypto projects can now stake their Ethereum and earn like a passive yield without like selling off their major supply. So there's a lot of like revenue that's being created from Ethereum now. I think people discount that, as well as, once we're in Bitcoin, the big money is going to start speculating in Ethereum, and much more so that supply is getting locked up and not being spent out because it's being staked everywhere. So it starts this. I mean, we can get some crazy prices. I mean, like kind of my real low end price point for Ethereum is $8,000. That's if we have a pretty shitty bull market, but more than likely we're going to be like $12,000 to $14,000 on Ethereum. But if things get pretty crazy to the point where like maybe there's an Ethereum ETF on the prowl, and there's all these other things, I mean, Ethereum could get up to like $25,000, $27,000. It's a pretty crazy sort of place where like a flipping could happen temporarily, and then I think Bitcoin would get its place back real quick. But things could get really crazy. I mean, like if we kind of outside of just the BlackRock investing into everything, right, buying all the Bitcoin miners, they can more easily control Ethereum than they can Bitcoin. So honestly, I feel like they would rather have Ethereum as in first place rather than Bitcoin. But we'll have to
Yeah,
see.
actually, I completely agree with that. That's something that I've been kind of noticing as far as like what I'm seeing off of like governments and big corporations is it seems like they're just trying to cage in Bitcoin, right? But then they're trying to like buddy up, and partner up with Ethereum. So that and I think the reason why for that is simply that Ethereum is it's the use case one, right? They can start building their own stuff on it. Bitcoin, like you can build stuff on it, but it's not really known so much for that. It's not as friendly for it, right? So I think, yeah, I think that's I think this cycle is going to be kind of crazy when it comes to institutions, coming into the space. It's been said that there's somewhere between like $10 trillion that's ready to just dump into crypto. And like a lot of that is going to be going straight to Bitcoin, obviously, because it's the most well known. But I think there's going to be a surprising amount going straight into Ethereum, man.
I mean, definitely. I mean, Bitcoin. It's. I mean, I've taught you guys this already. It's trickle down economics, but it kind of works, kind of. The big money buys Bitcoin, Ethereum. Those things go up. Then people then speculate because they think the next round's going to be in the altcoin. So Bitcoiners it's kind of, I was in Bitcoin Miami, and these Bitcoiners were barely talking about Bitcoin. They were talking about altcoins the whole time in private. And it's because they use their Bitcoin to speculate into altcoins to then make multiples, so you can then go buy more Bitcoin or cash, right? So it's kind of this whole thing where like the big two top assets, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they kind of move in tandem a little bit with each other within a range. And if Bitcoin rises quite significantly, Ethereum will as well. And then Ethereum's price goes up, which then makes every altcoin rise 80% to the same amount as Ethereum. And then from there, all these altcoin communities, if they get like a 5x in capital, they have all this capital, they start speculating into L1s, which make the L1 tokens pump, which make every other ecosystem token pump even more. And then you have this cascade where the entire market just explodes in capital. It just makes it's awesome. It's pretty awesome, but you have to get the big two movers, unless unlike you have to have some special event like Pulse Chain Hype or something like that, where that's where we pump against Bitcoin and Ethereum. But once Bitcoin and Ethereum move, these altcoins communities have a lot of money. Then from there it becomes this whole game of like catching cycles and seasons. Like, oh, it's Solana season, Solana cycle. It's it's Pulse Chain. Oh, it's Cardano time. Oh my God, it's Phantom time. It's all these different, like it's in cycles. Like, I mean, literally like up until like last year, the last ecosystem to pump was Phantom actually. You had Phantom pump, then Metis, and they tried to pump near protocol and it didn't. It basically failed. So the capital flew back into Phantom, and then it did this last pump into March of 2022, and then that's it. It's over. That was the last pumps. Now you still had some NFT thing grifts going on, but that's about it. So that's what happens is like the money you have these big pumps, and then people like you're gonna have OP season. Oh, it's Arbitrum season, or like OP and Arbitrum pump at the same time. Then money flows into Matic, and it's flowing everywhere, right? But you are going to have some underperformances, of course. But the opportunity is basically to pick a good ecosystem, pick your main L1 token, and pick a couple winners in there while they're cheap, and yield on them, or just hold them in a wallet. And then later on, when they do these massive multiples, just remember to take profit into Ethereum or Bitcoin. That's the big one. People always forget to do that, is unless it's such a life-changing amount, like you're like, oh my God, this is like $100,000. I should probably just put this in my bank. Versus it just all depends on where we're at in the cycle. If we're in early 24, probably back into Bitcoin, Ethereum. If we're into 2025, you better put that in your bank.
Yes.